Hey, this is Steven from LegitPC, and this is a Tomb Raider 2013 review. And sorry, I'm a little sick right now, so that might be why my voice is a little cracky. But overall, I've already finished the campaign. The game is about a 15-hour playthrough on campaign, and there's plenty more stuff that you could go back through and get through the game. So I just want to say that first off, campaign is absolutely excellent. It's one of the best campaign games I've played in a long time. And so yeah, we're just gonna jump into the game right here, and I'll show you guys some of the graphic settings you could pick from. Alright, so of course you have the resolution, refresh rate, VSync. This will really just bring your frames down really low. This game is really hurtful on your graphics card, really hurtful. And then you have, quality set to custom, and they have this new Tress FX, which is like the hair of Laura's hair has got physics where like it gets wet and stuff, shines differently and whatnot, and how it gets affected by the wind. And yeah, everything else is pretty straightforward. You could select all of these different settings to high or low or anything that you want to set in between to get the perfect frames that you want to get in your game and the perfect flow, the gameplay, the smoothness. And of course, the first thing that I wanted to show you guys is the first thing you experience when you get in the game is that the very first cutscene and intro to the campaign plot and storyline. And here, I'm just going through the simple, very simple buttons, not super crazy until you start unlocking stuff. Then you can do combos and whatnot, but pretty straightforward and easy to switch if you're switching in between games. Easy to remember. 3 different difficulties, pretty standard.
A famous explorer once said,
And enjoy this first cutscene intro to the game.
Not who we are. I'd finally set out to make my mark, to find adventure. But instead, adventure found me. In our darkest moments.
As you notice from the beginning, voice acting is excellent. Absolutely excellent.
We find
well, sometimes it's kind of weird, but it's a lot of work for the voice actor.
something that keeps us going. Something that pushes us.
There's an introduction to some of the 2 characters here, Laura, and then that's Roth. Of course, the actual end game does not look like this. I'll show you the end game here in a second. Not after this. It's kind of jumping forward a little bit.
The key to using any weapon is focus.
And you see the engine looks absolutely excellent. Crystal engine looks absolutely awesome. And I'm getting decent frames, and the quality is pretty good. I mean, my capture card's kind of dropping the quality a little bit, but it's still a great looking game. Absolutely great looking game, and great interactivity with the environment. And as you see, she gets balanced on logs, and there's logs to go across, and plenty of things to find in the game. There's plenty of unlockables, plenty of things to go back and get, and plenty of ways to customize your character, which to give you your own individual gameplay. And as you see here, I find one of the in-game achievements or things that you get by competing challenges. So here, of course, is 10 totems. You have to find 10 totems and break them, and then you get the achievement. And as you'll see later, there's things called campsites where you save, and then you could jump between different campsites in order to, if you want to go back and find the new unlocks, you go ahead and do so. And then here you see, you know, the early part of the game of Lara Croft when she's still, you know, pretty much intact and, you know, scared and whatnot. Until, you know, later on in the game she becomes pretty ruthless. But of course, the cutscenes are of very high quality.
All right, Lara. You won't always have some fancy gadget to tell you where you are. If you can learn to read the land and the stars, you'll always be able to find your way home.
And by killing the deer, you get XP, right? And then of course this is the survival instinct. You hit Q and this brings up, you know, stuff shows up in gold, stuff of interest show up in gold, and usually collectibles and stuff like that. Like if I were to use survival instincts right there, that totem would have showed up as gold. And plenty of hidden stuff, you know, to jump up and get collectibles. I mean, if you were to play the game straight through, you could probably do it in 5 hours. But of course, I kind of lollygagged and got a lot of the collectibles and the little portion here, the little intro of the game and the engine and some of the controls is going to be over here in a second, and then we'll move on to the next scene. So, I mean, like I said, the environments are absolutely beautiful. How they designed it, and the environmental designer and the map designer are absolutely top-notch level. This game does not leave anything alone. It just exceeds all expectations. And here you see something like, I guess it's a cutscene, but it's kind of like interactive, right? You have to dodge these things, and of course the deaths are pretty crazy. And sometimes one of my pet peeves is that you'll find it kind of frustrating because you'll do that like 3 or 4 times, and you'll find that like you're sliding down this hill or you're going down a river or whatever, you'll find that it'll push you kind of towards getting hit by those. It's kind of frustrating at that point. That's one of the downsides I saw, that these weren't. I mean, of course they're great, but you know, I might even hit another one this time. Or maybe not, because this one's kind of short. But it has a lot of these sequences, and it adds a lot of action to the game, and sometimes they come out of nowhere, which is pretty sweet. And of course, here's another scene that involves, you know, running and some slow motion stuff. It's pretty good choreography as far as the action sequences here, even though, you know, you're not firing against anything. I mean, even if you see an enemy, they're running too. And of course, the sound actor not missing a beat. Of course, Lara just getting absolutely destroyed, as usual. I mean, it's surprising that she survived among this, because she just gets beat the whole game. And of course, this is a Tomb Raider game, so you have the return of puzzles, and this is one of the optional tombs that you could explore. And basically, you have to get up to that wall, grab onto the wall, and move along. Some of these I didn't find too bad. For me, I didn't feel like I had to look up how to get past these tombs in order to pass the maze. I didn't feel that I needed that at all. Of course, you see me struggle a little bit with this one, and eventually I figured it out, and I'm able to get into the tomb room and get unlocked. And of course, I find out here that, oh hey, it pushes you up to the wall, and then you can jump through it. And of course, these mazes don't last too long, which is kind of cool. They're pretty short. They're very, very short mazes that, like, for example, this is only maze part of the sequence, right? You close these doors, and then you go over here, and then you wait a couple seconds, and then you raise it up, and then they come one pushes it, one comes open, the other one flaps open, the third one flaps open, which pushes you up to the top. Now, it's only that sequence, and then once you get to the top, you're done. You know, you don't have to freaking go on for 15 minutes, right, trying to do a maze. But of course, you'll fail once or twice, like I do here. I failed twice, and then I realized how to do it. I don't know why I do that, because I go back and close the windows too much. Yeah, this is just a little look at some of the mazes and how long it'll usually take you to go through a maze. I mean, of course, it's something to be very patient at and to get good timing at. And you should have no problem with the mazes. And I think it's a great addition to the game. Even though a lot of the mazes are optional, there's only a few mazes during the actual campaign that you have to, you know, complete or whatnot. So if you don't like mazes, then just don't do the optional stuff. That's pretty much what I have to say there. So, you know, right after you get to the top, pretty much done. You go into the actual tomb portion of the room, and you get what you came for, and then you leave. And you go back to your campsite that's at the beginning of every tomb, and you save your game, and then you're done. And of course, back here you could find stuff like modifications to your pistol, or your shotgun, or your rifle, or your bow, things like that. You could find different upgrades to improve the gameplay of your character, do more damage, being more accurate, cycle faster, faster fire rate, faster reload times, all that kind of stuff. So now we're gonna jump into some actual combat, and there's some big portions of this game where there's a lot of enemies running at you, like this portion here. And of course, you have a little bit of the cinematic, right, blowing up a pile of oil, burning all the enemies and whatnot. And of course, you can get through it pretty quick if you do something like that. You know, you set up how you're gonna kill each one, and you know, you blow up a gasoline tank. See all over the place. Pretty good combat, except for, of course, these guys take a lot to kill. And then you could use the interaction between your different weapons, you know, like you saw I went pistol, then I'm at my bow, and then in a second here I go to my rifle. It'll often require a lot of going through different weapons. Like here I'm using a shotgun now. The only thing that I had a problem with is I had trouble memorizing which buttons went to which gun for some reason. So you'll see me, so I occasionally cycle through a couple times just to get the right gun. Make sure you memorize that. That's my #1 tip. Memorize which keys map to which gun. And #2 would be memorize all the dodging mechanics. Even though, you know, most of the time you could kill any enemy that gets close to you before that, but still. So that was the combat portion, and I'll show you the unlockable portion right now of what you can unlock at campsites.
It's clear that there are people living here.
So first of all, you can unlock different skills, and this is a little early in the game, and you get a third set of skills. But you can see what you could kind of get. So basically, you unlock as you level up. You unlock an unlock, and then you have to get to a certain point of unlock to advance to another tier and get to the portion that you see that have the locks on it. So you'd have to go to the next tier in order to get to that, which it says over there to the left. It says buy 4 more to get to the next tier. And then, you know, each one has their own specialty. Like, this is the survival one. The other one's a hunter. So, like, you kind of pick which side you like. I mean, you're not going to be able to just dump all of them into one side. You're going to have to go back and forth, because otherwise you'll never advance to the next tier. Which I thought was kind of annoying. I kind of had to get some that I didn't really want. And I knew ones that I wanted that were in the next tier, which was kind of annoying, but you know, I found use of all of them. And then now we're going to go to where you could upgrade your gear by picking up salvage, which are in boxes, or by looting enemies or whatnot. And then you see the cost in the right corner, and then how much you have in the left corner. And each one allows you to upgrade your weapon to a certain extent. And later on in the game, this is early on in the game, but later on in the game you get a lot more weapons, like you saw in the previous combat one. And you could also find different upgrade parts that when you get, like, let's say 4 upgrade parts, it upgrades your gun, and then you have more unlocks that you could buy, as well as, you know, the looks of the gun change and whatnot. That's also another thing that gets you wanting to explore. That they set it up to where if you explore, you get more salvage, and thus you could upgrade your weapons more. And then here's one of the finds that you could get. It's in a little box. You open it up, and it's got a little rendering of a replica of something back in back that you would find at the island. And then if you spin it around, some of them have little notes on the back saying, you know, different key hints on what it is. But of course, the game's not perfect, as you see here. It's got some pop-in textures. At first, I tried to walk in there and get to the book. I was like, hey, the thing actually has something on there. And of course, you can't get through those wooden planks unless you have a shotgun. I don't have a shotgun yet. But yeah, kind of. And also, you can see that Laura's hair kind of disappears when you turn that corner. Kind of weird. Yeah, definitely weird. And I don't know if this is because of the tray effects or whatever. And then sometimes you have some, like, random artifacts floating in the sky and whatnot. And I also had another portion of this game towards the end. It only happened twice. And then towards the end, everything that was set to have some sort of animation or move or something that could be manipulated in the game, for example, like shields or swords or ammo magazines, would turn green like this. Like, let's say if you had a plank of wood that was mapped to break off and fly past you, it would turn green. And at first I was like, are they supposed to be aliens or something? But it's weird glitch. Okay, so now we're gonna get on to the multiplayer portion. And as you see, this video is actually pretty long. It's like a 32-minute review, but like it's a pretty long game for a campaign. It's like a 15-minute playthrough, and there's a lot of action. So on to the multiplayer here. This is a third-person. I wouldn't say team-based game. I mean, it is, but I personally like it. This one here is Cry for Help. The Solari, which I am right now, is supposed to kill the survivors and take their batteries before they could activate 3 of the beacons. 3 of the 4 beacons, and yeah, so this is a pretty good team-based game. And there's another, of course, there's Team Deathmatch, Survivor, not Survivor, sorry. There's Team Deathmatch, Free for All, Cry for Help, and Rescue. And I personally, my favorites are Cry for Help and Rescue. They're very team-based games, and as you see, it reminds me a lot of like Army of Two for like Xbox, or which I wish came to PC. And overall, it's one of the best multiplayers I played for such a game that was single player based. I mean, this game was so single player based. They put so much time and effort into the single player. I kind of didn't really think that multiplayer was going to be too good, but it really was. I was really impressed about how good the multiplayer gameplay was. So even if you wanted to get this game for multiplayer, you could, but I would still suggest getting the game for, you know, the single player experience, and just write the multiplayer experience off as a bonus, right? Because it's definitely worth the money just for the single player. But, you know, then you go in, you find out that the multiplayer is pretty cool, and you're like, hey, you know, good deal, right?
I got it. Need ammo. This would be useful.
Yeah, and you see I'm collecting a salvage for, because just like in single player, you could upgrade your guns and whatnot. As you see, we killed each other. So you could upgrade your guns and buy new characters, buy new characters for just your looks. It doesn't influence anything else. Me personally, I honestly think that the controls are a lot better in multiplayer as they are in campaign, because the controls in multiplayer are not the same controls as in campaign. So as you notice a lot, I could sprint, and you can't do that in campaign. You could just roll all the way, and you can still roll. As you can see, you can still kind of evade, you know, grenades or whatever shot at you. And of course, you have a grenade launcher, which you don't get until the very end, until near the end of the campaign. And also, what's kind of interesting is you see you have a little bit of interaction in the map, right? On some of the maps you could have major wind, or this map you could call almost like a code red, or and then you saw the melee there. You could call like a code red, or a demolition sequence where the roof starts falling, which someone, as you see, the sub is opening up, and then you can go in there and turn it on, and rocks will fall from the ceiling, and then if they land on your opponent, then you get the kill. Very cool. I haven't seen that very much in multiplayer games. Pretty interesting. So the next video, I'm going to show you Rescue. Rescue is one of the biggest team-based games I've played in a while. I mean, you have to definitely got to cover each other, otherwise you will lose. You see, we just won. Major comeback, pretty awesome. They had 2 out of 3 for most of the game, and then we had like 4 batteries, and now all of a sudden we come back and get 20 batteries. So here's Rescue playing as a survivor. So basically the objective for Rescue is to get the 5 med kits, like you just saw we did. And for the Solari, it's to kill 20 survivors and prevent them from getting med kits. So what's so special about this one is that when the survivor's killed, which is the team I'm on, they don't die, they get downed, and then you can't kill them as a Solari unless you come up and hit F to melee, or you let them bleed out. And it's like, well, they're downed, right? So survivors could come and heal them by hitting shift, and you also can see some interactivity there with the landscape and whatnot. And you saw that pillar, you can climb up the pillar with your climbing axe. You can also climb that wall that I just passed to my left. But of course I'm not going to do that because my objective is to help my teammates and bring in the med kit. And you saw that's now decreasing circle, that means that my friend's bleeding out. And that if I go and heal them, you just go up there and you hit shift, but of course you gotta watch out because you're basically can't protect yourself while you're healing.
Come on, reload! Someone get on me! Need help! Need help!
So as you see, there's a lot to do. A lot of things you could do. A lot of game modes that are really fun, and you can see that they definitely put some time into it. And of course, it's still got a little bit of console portitis, right? Like some things are kind of weird. For example, you can't turn your headset off. You can't turn your mic off unless you like physically turn it off all the way. It's like if you're chatting to your friend on Steam or whatever, it'll also chat in game. I didn't find it letting me turn it off.
Reload!
But you know that could be overlooked. The game is obviously very fun, and it could get very competitive. Like you saw in the last game, you know, we were down and then we had a comeback. As you see, of course, in this, your friend's got to come up and heal you when you're down, and then you can come and heal them. And we only need 2 more med kits. You can see me collecting some more salvage to upgrade my guns later on. All the animations in the multiplayer are very nice. It's a very smooth game. I haven't found any super crazy glitches. So it's pretty fun to enjoy. You know, you feel like you want to get away from Call of Duty or, you know, Crisis or whatever. It's a good game to jump into. You see here, I get a double kill while carrying around the med kit.
Damn it!
And I bring it in for we need 1 more to go, and then I'm gonna go over what you could get, what you could change in your guns, and the way you can customize your character in the multiplayer, and then we'll go into the conclusion of the Tomb Raider review. Of course, here I don't realize that that's actually a submachine gun handgun, not a pistol. And then you see a little bit more of the interactivity with the explosion, with the explosives and whatnot. And that's it. Now we're gonna go over some of the things you could upgrade, and then we're gonna go into the conclusion. So, of course, you have 2 different presets for each loadout, or for each race, right? For the Survivor or the Solari, they each have their own loadouts and guns that they could pick from. And as you see on the bottom there, you got all different kinds of upgrades that you could purchase with the salvage that you get in multiplayer, not the salvage you get in single player. And of course, there's unlockables and stuff like that, like you see on the lock. You know, you get suppressors and zooming in, and then you have different secondaries. You could also add attachments to your secondaries, as well as unlocking explosives. And it also has perks, right? Just like in, you know, Call of Duty or whatever first-person or third-person shooter nowadays has perks for the most part. And you see all the different kinds of skills that you could pick for the Survivor, and then we're gonna jump into the Solari. And as you see, the weapons are different. The secondaries are different. You don't have any automatic SMG or any sawed-off shotgun. As you see, there's a lot of bows, and there's actually a crossbow and a rifle, and then a longer double-barrel shotgun. which you can get in the compound bow, which you can't get in the. As well as they have this thing called the I forgot what it's called. I think it was called. Anyways, when you jump on a line, right, you just hit E and it zips you up the line, and of course the survivors don't have it. You saw different explosives. You know, you can put a fake box or whatever, and even the skills are different. And then we're gonna go into, you know, the character selection, and then you have to like buy them or whatnot as you unlock them. And these are all characters from the campaign. And Laura's the very last unlock. I switch factions here, and I think that the Slayer are really cool. And of course, these are all returned from the campaign, same exact characters in the campaign. You know, infinite ways to customize your loadout, and of course, but you can't really, you know, go and pick their clothes or whatnot. So overall, this was the review of Tomb Raider. I think it's a great reboot, awesome campaign, awesome multiplayer. I really enjoyed playing it. Plenty of playthrough opportunity, and you can just play it until you unlock everything, and it says that 100%, and then keep playing it. Play multiplayer if you want. It's a great game to pick up, 100% worth of value. Pick it up if you haven't already, and yeah, I hope to see more stuff from Crystal Dynamics and more Tomb Raider. So thank you. I'll be looking for the next one, and this has been Steven from TheLegitPC. And thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe for more. And thank you.